Hi everyone, I'm Marina Goncharenko, and today I'm going to give you a tour of the Florida Keys and Key West, where the road ends and paradise begins. The Florida Keys are made of over 800 small islands called keys. These islands start from the southern point of Florida and run 112 miles. Only 30 of the 800 islands are populated and have a total population of about 70,000. We will start our tour with the most famous key, Key West. Key West is a small island only 1 mile wide and 4 miles long. There are about 25,000 residents who live on the island year-round. During peak season in March and April, the island has around 80,000 people. Key West's beauty and charm attracts millions of visitors each year. The island has been developed to welcome and entertain this number of guests. Most of the action is on the west part of the island. Duval Street is the heart of Key West. This is the main street that runs the 1 mile width of the island, from the waters in the Gulf to the waters in the Atlantic Ocean. There are over 50 restaurants along Duval Street with some very iconic establishments. The island's small size makes it very walking friendly and even more popular to stroll around on a bike. Here is a quick tour of Duval Street. There are over 300 restaurants in Key West, and Blue Heaven has become an essential part of Key West. It has been here for over 30 years, and the building has some cool history. If you want to experience the authentic Key West vibe, you can find it here. There is an incredible outdoor seating area. You will most likely see wild cats and chickens roaming around. The chickens were brought here by Cuban migrants who bred them for cockfighting. Once that has become illegal, they were released and left on their own to roam the island. It is estimated that there were over 1,500 chickens roaming around Key West and are part of the culture. Some of the most famous dishes at Blue Heaven is the yellowtail snapper pasta dish with a delicious beurre blanc sauce, and the carrot and curry soup. Some have claimed that Key West is the birthplace of key lime pie. Although there's no proof of that, this is by far the most popular dessert in Key West and the entire state of Florida. In Key West, it is common to have a mountain of meringue on top. One of the most famous residents of Key West was a famous author from the 1930s, Ernest Hemingway. Ernest lived around the corner from the Blue Heaven restaurant. His home was turned into the Hemingway Home Museum. One of the most unusual features in the Hemingway home is the in-ground swimming pool, an extraordinary luxury for a residential home in the 1930s, especially in Key West. The final cost of the construction in 1938 was $20,000. With inflation, that would equal to paying $438,000 for a pool today. The labor involved in digging such a big hole out of solid coral was the most expensive part. It's a massive hole, 20 feet wide, 60 feet long, 10 feet deep at the deep end, and 5 feet deep at the shallow end. The Hemingway pool was the only pool within 100 miles in the 1930s. Truly an architectural feat. Another important part of the Hemingway home are the six-toed cats. There are 60 cats that live on the property today. It all started when a ship's captain gave Ernest Hemingway a white six-toed cat named Snow White. Some of the cats who live on the museum grounds are descendants of that original cat.
They're tired. They're taking a nappy nap. That's not tired.
Across the street from Hemingway home is the Key West Lighthouse. It's 170 years old and a symbol of the past. Today, it's a museum where you can visit the top by the 88 iron steps and see how the keepers lived. South of the lighthouse is the most photographed spot in Key West, the 12-foot tall southernmost concrete buoy. This is the most famous landmark in Key West. There's usually a line of people waiting to take pictures with this iconic landmark. Besides the buoy, there are many reminders throughout the island of how close Key West is to Cuba. Cuba is 90 miles south of here, while Miami is 160 miles away. Right next to the buoy is the Key West Butterfly and Nature Conservatory. It houses around 60 different species of butterflies in a 5,000 square foot climate-controlled tropical habitat. There are also two flamingos who are stars of the show. If you time it right, they may even perform a little dance. To top it off, there are over 20 varieties of exotic birds. Something very common in Key West is the pastel-colored homes and buildings. Most of the buildings and homes throughout the island have a pastel color scheme. It suits the tropical surroundings very well and adds to the tropical beauty. Another example of this is the Audubon house in the tropical gardens. The home and its furnishings reflect how a wealthy family lived in Key West 180 years ago during the 1840s. It was originally the home of Captain John Geiger, a wrecking master who made his fortune salvaging ships from reefs. He had 12 kids and they lived in the house for over a century. John James Audubon, a French-American artist, a visitor to Key West. There is a room upstairs dedicated to one of his most famous works, The Birds of America. Outside the house, the property also has an outhouse and a cookhouse, as they built kitchens separate from the house to avoid risk of fire. Another famous Key West visitor was President Harry Truman. He served as the 33rd president 80 years ago. This home was built 135 years ago as quarters for Navy officers. Later, Harry Truman used it as his winter White House. The home has been converted to the Truman Little White House Museum. It's another big attraction in Key West. The neighborhood surrounding the White House is the Truman Annex. It has some of the most manicured and most beautiful streets in Key West. It is a popular area to stroll. South of the neighborhood is the Truman Waterfront Park. It was a Navy base that was handed over to the city of Key West in 2002. It has been redeveloped and has an amphitheater, a splash pad, and a playground. In the backdrop is the Coast Guard vessel, open to the public as a museum and memorial. This area also hosts a farmers market on Thursdays. Along the waterfront, we have several cruise ship piers. Many different cruise liners stop by Key West for a day visit. The cruise ships conveniently unload passengers near Mallory Square. Mallory Square is a waterfront plaza full of attractions. This side of the island has the most beautiful views in Key West. Mallory Square is the most popular gathering spot in Key West. Seeing thousands of visitors a day, this area is full of things to do. Several old buildings have been repurposed to contribute to this entertaining space. The Customs House has been restored as the Key West Museum of Art and History. Next to it is the historic 1800s structure that used to be a Navy coal depot. Today, it's a two-story shopping mall. Here is a highlight of this area. All around Mallory Square are different waterfront hotels and restaurants. This area has the front row seat to the most beautiful views on the island. Something else very important are the sunsets. Every evening there is a sunset celebration. Mallory Square fills up with people who want to experience this natural wonder. The sunset celebration lasts 4 hours, 2 hours before and after sunset. There are street performers and vendors who cater to and entertain the guests. In the distance, 500 yards off the coast is Sunset Key. It used to be Tank Island. It was a man-made island constructed by the United States Navy to serve as a fuel tank depot during the Cold War. They sold the island to developers in 1994, who renamed it Sunset Key. They turned it into a 27-acre residential and resort island with a restaurant. The only way to get to the island is by a boat shuttle. The restaurant on Sunset Key is Latitudes. To come here, you usually need to make a reservation months in advance. The restaurant has one of the most beautiful settings and is a beautiful spot to eat and watch the sunset. The north side of Key West is home to the Coast Guard and Navy base. It has a more industrial feel. Something else that most find interesting is that there's no traditional beach in Key West or the Keys. The beach is not a big attraction or draw to the Keys. Key West has several small beaches, most of which are man-made. Many do enjoy them, but this is not why most come to visit the Keys. The reason is the Keys are made of limestone left behind from old coral reefs. The Keys are home to the largest barrier coral reef in the United States, which is the third largest in the world. This means that snorkeling is more popular here than sunbathing. On the south side of the island, we have Higgs Beach and Park. There is a popular fishing pier here. Near the Key West Airport is a 2.5-mile long road that runs along the water. It makes for a beautiful drive and is a popular spot for a run. Parallel to it, on the north side of the island is another road with a large sidewalk and beautiful water views. There are many resorts, vacation rentals, and boutique hotels in Key West. One of the highest rated and most recommended in Key West is the Gardens Hotel. It is located in the heart of Key West, right next to Duval Street. Here you can experience the true Key West culture and atmosphere. I believe this is the best authentic Key West experience that many fall in love with. They have several different cottages as well. It's less than a mile walk to either side of the island, and minutes away from many great restaurants. About 1.5 million visitors flew into the Key West Airport in 2024. However, many visitors come to Key West by car since it's one of the most scenic drives in America. 42 bridges connect Key West to the mainland. It's 120 miles from Key West to Florida mainland, a 2 to 3 hour drive depending on the time of day. Most make a trip out of it, as there's so much to see along the way. 50 minutes east of Key West is one of the most iconic stops, the famous 7-Mile Bridge. It's considered one of the most beautiful bridges in the state of Florida. When it was built, it was considered the 8th wonder of the world. There are 2 bridges in this location. The modern bridge is open to vehicle traffic. This is the most beautiful drive and what gave it the name the Overseas Highway. The old bridge has been repurposed as a biking and walking trail. Between the 7-Mile Bridge and Key West are the Lower Keys. There are about a dozen keys over 35 miles. The largest key is Big Pine. Something unique about Big Pine is the National Key Deer Refuge. It's mostly undeveloped pine lands where the key deer live. One of the most popular destinations in the Lower Keys is the Bahia Honda State Park. The park is over 500 acres and has an offshore island. Something people really enjoy here is camping. There is a historic rail bridge that is a beautiful overlook for visitors. East of the 7-mile bridge is Marathon. This city is made up of 13 keys stretching across the next 10 miles. There are about 10,000 residents in Marathon. It's the halfway point between Key West and the Florida mainland. It has a family-friendly atmosphere, with many family-friendly attractions. Something unique to Marathon is the Turtle Hospital. It is a sea turtle rescue and rehabilitation center, offering guided public tours. It is often rated as one of the top things to do in Marathon. Here is a quick highlight.
Teeth can still be released like this. Still be still.
Was out in the wild, it would have cleaner shrimp and cleaner fish.
Another popular attraction in Marathon is Sombrero Beach. It is well equipped and a beautiful place to spend time. It is estimated that Marathon gets around 1 million visitors a year. Marathon has about 50 different hotels to accommodate all these families and guests. Tranquility Bay Beachfront Resort is the highest rated resort in Marathon. This 4-star hotel also has 2 and 3 bedroom villas. It sits on a beautiful property and offers incredible amenities. Marathon also has Boot Key Harbor, one of the largest harbors in the Florida Keys and a safe haven for boats. The next city is Islamorada. It is made up of 6 different keys over the next 25 miles. The population is around 7,000. Islamorada is the most narrow set of keys and is most known for its fishing. One of the most popular attractions in Islamorada is Robbies. It's a world-famous marina that has been one of the most famous stops for almost 50 years. Something they offer is tarpon feeding at the dock. There are hundreds of tarpon that you can feed from your hand.
Oh, that was a big one. Whoa.
Some of them get up to 8 feet long. You may also see some sharks and other sea visitors. There's also a restaurant on site, Hungry Tarpon. It has a beautiful view and some incredible food. And some of their most popular appetizers are the lemongrass ribs, the Thai mahi fingers, and the pan-seared mussels. For their main courses, they have a really good seafood jambalaya, lobster mac and cheese, one of their signature dishes is the whole yellowtail snapper. On the east side of Islamorada, we have Theater of the Seas. Its lagoons and lush tropical gardens are home to dolphins, sea lions, turtles, fish, sharks, and stingrays. They have an incredible dolphin show that most come to see. The last 12 miles of the Keys before the mainland is Key Largo. The population is around 12,000. This area has been dubbed the diving capital of the world. A few miles offshore are some of the most popular snorkeling and scuba diving spots among the Keys. On the Gulf side of Key Largo is the Everglades National Park, often explored by kayak or airboats. 60 miles north of Key Largo is downtown Miami. Many visitors fly into Miami Airport, rent a car, and head down to the Keys. We created a travel guide cheat sheet for the Florida Keys and Key West. It has the top-rated hotels, the best restaurants, and things to do and see. If you would like that list, leave a comment below, and we will also have a link in the description. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this tour of what Florida Keys and Key West have to offer.